What differentiates the global strategy from previous EU foreign policy strategies?
I'd say two main things. Firstly, that it's a global strategy and it's not a security strategy, only a security strategy. Of course, it does have security and defense as important elements to it, but it's really looking at trade and development and migration and energy, etc. So it's looking at the sort of adopting a whole of EU approach to strategy. So that's one main element, and the second is that this is a strategy that aims not only at saying what we want to do, but also giving some sort of indication of how we want to do it, which connects to what I was saying a minute ago, because unless you look at the entire box of tricks that you have at your disposal, you're not able to say much about the how and not just about the what.
Right. What do you believe are the key challenges ahead for the global strategy?
Well, I would say that the key challenge is the UK referendum. It is quite clear that if things go well, then actually this can be a very good moment because there are not that many pieces of good news coming out at the moment from the European Union. So if the referendum is obviously in favour of the UK remaining in the EU, then we can really ride the wave of a degree of optimism, which is not that common these days. Of course, if that doesn't happen, then this is a major challenge. I would say not so much in terms of the content of the strategy, meaning, if one were to think about the kind of things that the European Union has to do, it will be less able to do them without the UK, but the things that we have to do remain the same, more or less. So it doesn't really affect the content, but the politics of it is of course, would be a big mess.
So you have said we need to go beyond security and defense as the only instrument of foreign policy. How do we do that?
Well, I think there are two things that one has to say. I mean, firstly, it is quite clear that we do have to do the security and defense bit, particularly when one talks about the European Union. It is quite clear that this is an area in which the European Union and EU member states essentially have vastly underinvested in. So we do have to get our security and defense bit there. But whatever priority you're thinking of, think about what you want to do including in conflict areas, in Syria, in Libya. Do we really think that it's only through security and defense instruments that we can get it right? If we think of priorities like resilience, how to build resilient states and societies, yes, security and defense is part of that conversation, but it's really, how to foster economic resilience, how to foster political inclusiveness, how to foster sustainable climate and energy policies. All these aspects really have to be brought in if we want to deliver on a macro goal, which can be the resilience of states and societies.